Future Jam.
Welcome to the Future Jam, a tech news podcast for enthusiasts and casual listeners alike. I'm Mike, and once again, I'm here with my good buddy, Alex.
Hey, Mikey, how's it going? How's life?
I'm pumped tonight. I almost didn't show up because I wanted to watch the Bengals on primetime.
I know, your boys are playing tonight, so I want to try to make this the longest episode ever.
I know.
I'm going to just keep talking and talking and talking.
I'm sure the listeners would enjoy that as well. They just enjoy us just to ramble on and on and on about nothing.
Yeah, especially I got nothing to do tonight.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're doing a podcast right now. That's something, right?
In the grand scheme of things, I guess it is, yeah.
All right. Let's jump into the Dumb Tech of the Week.
Which I don't agree with your Dumb Tech of the Week, so.
Oh, any of them? I added 3.
Well, one of them I say is probably like a douche tech of the week.
All right.
The first one I think is pretty neat. I think it's neato.
All right, let's jump right into it then. There's a robotic backpack that follows its leader wherever you may wander. And this is a backpack called the Gita Mini. Right off the bat, that's a dumb name. So we're starting there. That's dumb. And then we jump to it looks like R2-D2. It's a backpack. So how are you going to put this on your back? I don't know. It looks very cumbersome to put on your back. So I don't know why they even call it a backpack to begin with.
I think it's backpack in quotations because it's supposed to be just like you can store stuff in there and it will follow you around and carry it with you.
Yeah, but still, why call it a backpack at all? Why not just call it like a
wagon?
I don't know. There's a terminology you could even use, but it's the size of a border collie, weighs 28 pounds in and of itself, and then it holds additionally 20 pounds. So that's 48 pounds.
Yeah, but I think I think it would be more like a wagon is what you would be thinking of. But yeah, you can store stuff in it and it follows you around. And it can go up to 6 hours or a range of 21 miles. I think if you're going 21 miles, it'd be longer than 6 hours. It says it goes 5 to 6.
I don't see anybody who is like rich enough to buy this for $1,850 to walk 20 miles in one day. I don't think any rich person's walking this.
I was thinking about it. Like, I could see this being used in like, I don't know, I would say like college campuses, like by like maintenance staffs and all. Like, say you're like hanging stuff, like on like, if you're like, say you're hanging Christmas bows on like
yes, this is going to sell exactly 4 products.
But like
4 people are going to buy these.
Like, I can see like if you're like hanging stuff up and you have to go from one to the other, instead of like lugging a box, you would just have it next to you, and then it follows you to the next one, and you hang it up. Follows you to the next one, and you hang it up.
This thing's small. It's not like it's holding a lot of stuff. It's pretty small to begin with.
20 pounds. Well, that's if you get the small one. You get the big one.
It's like it's only like 4 feet off the ground, if that, maybe 3. But it's designed to dodge pedestrians. It has like a camera and radar to track you and it can follow you safely at a distance. It doesn't need internet connection or any of that stuff. So it's cool on paper, but I don't see that it serves a purpose outside of being flashy.
I think for the workforce, yeah, I would like to have it my job. I sit at my desk all day.
Sit at a desk.
Yeah, but there's times where I have to get up, and I don't want to carry like the 5 pieces of paper I have to carry. I could use this.
To me, the only like use case is like somebody with a disability, you know. But then on top of that, you have to pick it up over like curbs and stuff like that. So
I thought it said it could do curbs and steps.
No, you have to. It says it's easy to lift over curves.
Okay.
Curbs. Yeah, so you still have to lift it over objects and curbs and stuff. So
yeah, but I've been saying for years we need to get rid of curbs.
Yeah, I mean curb cut. Like our city's getting rid of all the curbs. Curb cuts are getting added to all the sidewalks, so that's nice. Eventually, everywhere will have curb cuts, which is awesome. But yeah, I just see this as a very small niche product, and it's pretty dumb.
I'm gonna buy it for you, and you're gonna love it.
Yeah. Okay. I'll grimace as I unbox it.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my god, I've used this for so much. You can carry all your podcasting equipment in it if you're going somewhere new. If you go for your jogs, you can put it in there and like have your water and sandwich in there. I assume you eat a sandwich when you're jogging. I don't know what people do on the jogs. What do you do?
I guess it goes fast enough. It says 6 miles per hour, I believe. So that's a slight jog.
Yes, but
I just can't get bound. I mean, it's cool that they put all this tech in it. And that's cool, but I just don't see the use case outside of being some like cool thing.
Yeah, I think if you like certain jobs, I can see like using it.
Yes, hanging bows up on trees. We get that. So
yeah, it's the only job.
Let's jump right on to the next one. Spotify's new Marquee promotion feature is forcing artists to pay to reach fans they already have.
Yeah, this is my douche tech of the week.
Yeah, I think it is a douche tech of the week. And do you know what this reminds me a lot of, Alex?
Yeah, what?
It reminds me a lot of when Facebook was in its early, not infancy, but kind of like midway through, like its early times. So back in the day, I used to follow every single band. Like I had like maybe 300, 500 bands that I followed on Facebook, and you would see like every single post they posted. You'd know like what town they were coming to or when they released new music. And then out of nowhere, Facebook did a thing where pretty much every single page post was hidden by default. So say a band posted, "Hey, we're going to be in your town next month." Hidden. I didn't see it on my newsfeed. Why? Because Facebook decided they wanted to charge all these like bands to like promote their stuff. So even though the intention is for I want to follow them, I'm specifically following them, I should see their stuff, Facebook's intentionally hiding it. So that's exactly what Spotify is doing here, is you're following all these bands and Spotify is hiding their like most recent stuff, and you have to pay to get it promoted.
Well, you don't have to pay. The band would have to pay.
No, I don't have to pay.
Yeah, so
the band like gets did the band gets charged, or is it just taken out of like what they're getting?
I don't
royalties?
know exactly how that works, like the algorithms and the behind the scenes stuff. So yeah, like if a new band has an album come out, like it would be like a marquee thing, and you can click on it, and if somebody clicks on it, it takes it directly to like that page, but it's gonna charge the band 50 cents per click, and bands only make 0.03 or 0.5% cents on every song. So tell me, did the math. Like a person would have to stream an album 1,000 times for a band to make their money off with the marquee thing. They don't make money off Amazon to begin with.
So I didn't see this. Are the bands choosing to get promoted on the marquee, or is Spotify just doing this on their behalf?
I think it's newer. Like it just released, so I don't know if bands like are choosing to opt out of it. I think it's Spotify thinking they're too big to fail now. Like I think they're like, oh, we are an institution, which, like with the music stuff like that, like if you get a bad rap, like it might drive people to Amazon Music or Apple Music. Like you're not the only like business in town. There's other options. Like if you have like a bad relationship with like bands and stuff like that.
Yeah, I could totally see it being an instance of like, oh, we're exclusive to Apple Music now. All of our stuff's on Apple Music, or all of our stuff's on YouTube Music. Yeah, I could see that route happening where bands get pissed off at, Spotify. And this whole like streaming music industry is not good for bands anyways.
No, they don't.
I think we've gone.
That's why you're seeing bands tour a lot more. That's where they're making their money.
But the thing is I think it's the streaming stuff's good for like really big bands, but like the middle tier, low tier bands, it's not helpful at all. Besides discoverability, that's about it. That's the only thing I can think of off the top of my head.
Well, did you see? They also have like a discovery mode. I guess that might have been around for a while.
Yeah, that's been around for a long time.
Where the artist makes less money, but like if they promote and music more. So it's just like,
yeah, I don't know. I just don't like companies doing scummy things like this to like nickel and dime people.
Well, maybe if they weren't paying,
but like you said, they're the biggest game in town, so they could do whatever they want, basically.
Yeah, but maybe if they weren't paying podcasters millions of dollars for exclusive rights, they wouldn't be.
Yeah, and who wants to listen to podcasts on Spotify? No offense if you're listening to us right now on Spotify, you're dumb. Anyways,
we thank you though.
No, we don't.
I thank you
We're
for
jumping
listening.
right into our next one. Apple has finally let you rate its app. What?
I care about the jammers out there, unlike Mike. Do you think our fans should be called jammers, jamheads, jammies,
Probably Jammies.
Jamelos?
No, Jammies is the awards. The awards we have.
Oh yeah, so it can't be jammies. So jammers, jamheads, jamelos.
Not Jamelos.
Why?
Reminds me too much of Juggalos.
I know, that's where I got it from.
I know. We'll come back to that.
We'll
Anyways.
put a Twitter poll up, which...
No, we don't. We won't.
Yeah, we will.
I'm not putting up a Twitter poll.
What we want
All
our
right,
fans
next
to
one
be
up
called.
is Apple. Let's stop it. Next one up is Apple finally lets you rate its apps on the App Store. You know what? I haven't had an iPhone in probably 10 years now. Close to that. And I always assumed you could review Apple's apps on the App Store. And color me surprised when I found out that you could not this whole time. Because on the Android system, people can review Google Maps. People can review all the Google apps. And obviously, some of them get bad scores because some of them suck.
Yeah, I thought
So
you
Apple
could too.
is hiding their stupid apps being terrible because you can't rate and review them.
Yeah, I thought you could always review Apple's apps. Because, like, it's a big thing, and you should, for the Future Jam, if you have an Apple product, rate and review our podcast. Like, you can review other stuff on there. I'm guessing, like, Apple just doesn't care. Like, it's just like, if you're going to use our Safari, you're going to use our Maps if you have an Apple phone, you're going to use, iTunes.
No, they just don't want bad publicity because they know the Maps app sucks. And they know that it's going to get bad ratings, and they don't want people... Like, Apple's all about their image, so of course they don't want bad reviews on their products. So I could see a point where they just take the reviews off again when Maps gets bad reviews or, whatever other app they have gets bad reviews.
Well, they're only doing this because of, like, the pushback they've gotten lately on how they handle app developers and apps on their store. So this is them trying to make it fair, like, oh, you can review our apps now too, and give people.
It's
people
also
have
funny.
more
It's happening
options.
at the same time where you could change your default apps for a lot of things now.
Yeah.
So, I definitely wouldn't use some of their baked-in apps, and just like on Android, I wouldn't use some of the baked-in apps there either. But I'm glad that you can finally see reviews, because what happens is, Alex, is if there's something wrong with an update or there's something wrong with an app, like a lot of times you'll read in the reviews, like, okay, this is happening. And you can kind of like see other people's like problems and like, okay, that's exactly what I'm experiencing. And you can kind of like say, okay, that's just a bug. And hopefully Apple sees this and fixes it.
Do you think Apple needed reviews? Because anytime there's like a software update or anything and something's bad, like you hear about it from like everywhere. All the news.
Yeah, the news media.
Yeah. Like, so I don't even think they needed to add reviews. It's like...
Yeah, probably not. But still, I just think it's probably a good transparency thing. If your app is on the store with other apps, I don't think it's right to hide the reviews for your app and then make Google Maps be reviewed and, you can see the reviews for that. So I just think it's just a non-competitive thing to do. But anyways, we actually have coverage for 2 events tonight, the Microsoft event and the Amazon event. Both of those things happened since we recorded last. So we're going to run through some of the bigger things that were announced and kind of cover those real quick.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. First off is the Microsoft Surface event that happened about a week and a half ago. And there was a couple fun announcements this year, I think. First up I want to mention is the Surface Duo 2. Do you remember the Duo 1, Alex?
No.
It was the Microsoft's dual screen phone that folded, and you could fold it out. It had a hinge, but it wasn't like one screen that had a crease. It was like 2 screens.
Okay, and and it had like that small bar in the middle, like gap.
Yeah, and I personally didn't think they would have like another iteration because the first one just wasn't well received. Like it was released with an old chip. It was released with poor iterations of the software. The cameras were terrible. It was just very much like a beta product, I felt like.
Yeah, you think they released it just to see how people would react to the folding phone?
I actually had one of the guys I work with. He bought the original one. He was an iPhone user. He bought it, and I could have sworn he was going to ditch it within like the first week because he just nonstop complained about it. But surprisingly enough, he stuck with it for a good 8 to 10 months, maybe even close to a year. And, I'm proud of him, but he probably wishes
he did it.
he probably wishes he would have waited for the Duo 2.
On a side note, I think anytime somebody switches from Apple to Android or Android to Apple, they always complain about like you can't find it for like the first like week or two. Like the interface is slightly different and all. So
yeah, that's true. But also, sometimes people don't give the effort to learn all the new stuff too, right? So I feel like sometimes people will switch and they won't put in the effort and just put it back down and move back over to the iPhone. So, or vice versa. So you have to put in the effort. You have to I say be curious about your product. Don't worry about breaking it. Explore around, have fun. That's just what I do. I tweak things and mess with things all the time. Big thing with the Surface Duo 2, bigger screens. It actually has a nicer camera in the back because that's what it got made fun of the most with the terrible camera quality. So it has triple cameras now, a wide angle, a telephoto, and a ultra wide. So I think all the expensive phones are doing that now. And then it has an interesting thing where the screen folds out, like it has like a curved display on the inside. And so when it's closed, you can see a part of the display on the hinge, and you can see like your missed calls there and like messages and stuff. So I think that's kind of an interesting concept as well. They're actually putting a current chip in there, the Snapdragon 888. So it's current stuff and 3 years of updates. So I'm still not backing this 100% because it's running Microsoft's version of Android, and that's not very good. But I think it's a worthy thing to try. Give it a shot if you're interested in this. $1,500, a little bit cheaper than the last one, but yeah.
Yeah, that's for the base model. It comes out October 21st. It can go up to $1,800 for the 512 gigabyte one. That's
still pricey.
Yeah. Then there's like one in between the two. That's in general, like all Microsoft Surface announcements pretty much was just like better versions of what they've already had. That was like the big thing.
Yeah, well, they did have like a new product announced, and I thought this was. I usually don't get too excited with laptops. This one just got announced. It's called the Surface Laptop Studio.
This looked cool,
yeah, because before they had the Surface Book, which was like a laptop that had a detachable display. And I had a lot of users with that. And the downside to it is the detachable display had to have all the computer components in the display and not the keyboard. So like certain things didn't work right when you detach the display because the graphics card was in the keyboard and the
commercials
it was
made
just
it
kind
look
of
so
a mess
cool.
of a product.
The commercials were always like this. People taking it apart, putting it back together like it was nothing.
Yeah, I really didn't have many users actually take the display off. Like, I actually have one for work as well, and I don't think I've ever disconnected the display.
I think it was at the idea where, like, people, like, because, like, people bought, like, laptops for, like, the, like, keyboards for, like, their iPads and stuff like that. So I think that's what they were kind of going for. Like, oh, people like taking this apart and all. But the difference is, like, the iPad is a good, like,
tablet?
A good tablet itself. And, like, the keyboard is just an enhancement to that. They want, like, built together. Yeah. Like, they focused on one thing and then they made the keyboard after. Like, they were trying to do both at the same time and not doing a good job really on both of them.
You're absolutely correct in saying that the Windows experience on a tablet's not great at all. The only use case I really saw around the Surface Book screen detachment was using, like, the Surface Pen to, like, do drawing.
And they made that
I
better.
think some people in the graphics arts departments like use that feature. But what's cool about this one is no detachable display anymore. It's an easel. So the display folds out just like a typical laptop display, but then it has an additional hinge in the middle, and you can kind of tilt the monitor in such a way where it can come up over top of the keyboard, and you can even lay it flat. So it's like flat on the top of the computer, and so it's like almost like a tablet that way. It's hard to explain. It's really hard to explain. I definitely say you should look this up because it's interesting. Surface Laptop Studio, and it even looks weird too. Like it's like a laptop, and then it has like a additional like weird piece underneath it that has like the vents and all that. So it's like a laptop with like a weird butt.
Yeah, you never had an iPad, did you?
Yeah, early on I think I had an iPad briefly.
It reminded me,
I sold it.
It reminded me like if you like the ones that had the case with the lid.
Yeah.
And like you could open it up and like the lid would stay down and you would move the iPad out a little bit and like it would lean. Like that's
it's exactly that. Yeah.
Exactly like that. But they did upgrade like this. So the big thing is with this is going back to like you were saying the art design. Like they updated the stylus. And he said it's good enough. Like it seems like you're just like taking notes on like paper or like scribbling on paper, like how well it is.
Yeah.
But,
the stylus is a lot better. It's like they updated the refresh rate of the screen as well. So it's a 120 hertz screen. So since the screen refreshes so much, it just feels more fluid writing or drawing. You're correct. It also has haptic feedbacks in the pen. So it vibrates a little bit when you're writing, so you can kind of feel it in your hand. I don't know. We give out a pen to every single one of our like employees, and I'm kind of curious like how many people actually use it.
I would.
You would?
I don't know. I like to draw penises on the screen with the.
Yeah, I'm curious how many penises we're drawing on company laptops.
But it's,
I think the other. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it comes out in October and it's like base price is $1,600.
All this stuff comes out in October. I think
it does.
The big thing about this one, I think this is the Microsoft's first like big competitor to the MacBook Pro. So it has the higher specs, the dedicated graphics card. If you get the i7, you can get a RTX 3050. So if you're in the market for a high-end laptop or even a low-end gaming laptop, this is a good option. All right, next one up is Surface Pro 8. I actually thought the Surface Pro series needed a good upgrade for years. It's been like very outdated. Like every single iteration, you pick it up and you're like, you can't tell if it's a Surface Pro 3 or a Surface Pro 7. They look all identical. And you have to like look on the back, like type in the serial number. Like there's different ways to find out which version you're holding, but it's been the same. It's not changed.
Yes.
I mean, you probably haven't really messed with them. I haven't. Quite a few.
No, well, you deal with computers a lot more than me.
Yeah. So what made me excited about this one, and they finally made the screen a little bit bigger, made the bezel smaller, so it's 13 inches instead of 12.3. Also gets that new 120 hertz display, so that's better. Way longer battery life, 16 hours. So that's exciting in and of itself. It's supposed to be 60% faster than the previous one. And I'll say this, I've been having nonstop issues with the Surface Pro 7s. So I think this could be a very exciting product finally, because Pros haven't been exciting in years. And the keyboard has the little indentation for the pen now. So you don't lose your pen. You could just fold the keyboard out and there's your pen. It charges in it and everything. Because before you have to have the pen on the side and it fall off, get lost in your bag or whatever. So finally they came out with a solution for that as well. Sorry, I'm just going off on a tangent here, but
no, I was saying earlier, like Surface, like Microsoft is just updating all their Surface products, and this pretty much goes hand in hand with Windows 11 coming out. They want like pretty much a big release. Like all these, they're going to have Windows 11. They're going to be top of the line stuff. So they're going hard in this year on all these products.
And Alex, I didn't even mention this. And before we jump into the Amazon stuff, they finally added Thunderbolt. I know that's not exciting for you.
The Pokemon move?
Yes. Every single accessory, USB-C accessory says, oh, it needs Thunderbolt to work. Not every single one, but there's like a lot of accessories that doesn't work with regular USB-C. And for the longest time, Microsoft refused to include Thunderbolt support on their devices because they said that, oh, we want you to use our Surface connector, which is that little proprietary magnetic connector on the side. They want you to use that. And obviously they realized that people are clamoring for the Thunderbolt, and that's the best way forward. So yeah, Thunderbolt's on the Pro 8 and the Surface Book Studio, but it's not on the Laptop 4. So we're going to have to wait till next year, the Laptop 5, to get Thunderbolt. So that's one of the biggest omissions on the laptop.
No.
So all right, jumping into Amazon stuff.
Amazon time.
Were you excited about any of the Amazon announcements at all?
No,
I know you have kids, so would you get your kids the Amazon Glow?
It was interesting. So yeah, what the Glow is like an 8-inch screen, LED screen. It's like a 2-device, and it has like a projector on it. So like it projects down, and it has like a keyboard. Like what is like a mat, I guess.
No, I think it's just like a projector. I think you could just put it on the floor or the carpet or whatever.
So like it's supposed to be like interactive. So if they're talking to like their grandparents or anything, they can play games or read stories with them on like this device. I don't see myself ever using it.
So you don't think your kids would get entertained by this?
I think they would. But like so yeah, the projection is like a 19-inch screen that comes out.
Like on the floor,
in
front of them.
So I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like a phone on a mount that projects onto the floor, and it has like various games, children's books, different stuff like that projects onto the floor. And I guess it can also scan like toys and make a digital representation of the toy as well. I don't know. It seems kind of cool, but again, why do you want your kids playing more electronic stuff?
I don't know, as a person with kids, trying to get them to sit and like actually interact with people on the phone, it's kind of hard. And it's kind of like bored.
I can't really see kids doing video chat or being engaged by video chat that much. Maybe that's why they're trying to make it a fun game, so the kids like enjoy it and the grandparents get satisfaction as well from it as well. So
yeah, I just don't see this something that I ever would buy. Like it's a cool idea. Early on, it's $250, and then the price is going to go up to $300.
So, what do you think of this new pricing thing, where they're pricing things out for like $250, and then like, oh, later it's going to be $300? I think this is just like a bait and switch, where they're actually really going to sell it for $250 for most of the time.
Well,
and
yeah,
they're just saying a more expensive price to make it seem cheaper.
It'll be $250 for the holidays. Go up, and then they do like a Prime Deal Day and like this.
Yeah, they have those. Yeah,
and like they'll do them like, and then they'll drop them back down to $250. Yeah, it's just a pricing scheme, but they're doing that for all the products. Like
that's cool. Weird. I don't think I've seen that before.
No,
it seems like a good way to like make your product seem cheaper than it actually is as well. Like, it's $1,500, but I can get it for $999. I'm talking about a different one right here, but yeah.
Well, no, it's just like. A lot of places do that, like early on. If you're one of the first people to buy it, you get it at a cheaper price. Well, they want more people to buy it at first, and then the word will spread. Yeah. But it's just something I don't see myself ever buying. Or
any
like
of those.
my
things.
Family members using, like to talk to the kids. So I don't know.
Yeah, the Glow kind of like I guess your kids will have to see it at a friend's house or see a fun commercial, and maybe they'll want it then. Maybe they'll want it then. I don't know. But next one up is the Amazon new Echo Show, which is a 15-inch giant smart display. I thought this was a bit much.
Yeah, you know what it reminds me of is instead of having the fridge with like the little screen that can keep your calendar and stuff for you and your food options on there, is
the smart fridge.
Yeah, it's just that. That's all it is. It's just like took that off and put it like you can hang it on the wall.
But I'm trying to imagine a place where I'd even hang something like that, and it's hard. Like, where do you find a spot? And isn't it a bit intrusive?
It seems like they were really pitching it to be like a kitchen product, because like you can attach it to like all recipes or something like that, and look up recipes and have your calendars. Like we have a calendar hanging up in our kitchen. Yeah. Like, I don't know, we've talked about this before. Like, I just don't use technology like this.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's still too small to like comfortably read a lot of like a recipe off of it and
15.6 inch. Did you say that?
Yeah, but that's still like if it's on a wall or something and you're standing over a counter, it's still a little small. But then again, I don't want anything bigger either. But you can make video calls with it as a camera. Also, the camera recognizes your face, so it can, I guess, cater to each individual person that walks up to it, so you can have like your family profiles and such.
Yes.
I mean, it's a cool idea. I just don't want to tie anything to Amazon, honestly. I don't really care for Amazon products that much.
No. Like, I don't know. My wife, like, we have this, like, a whiteboard calendar that she just updates every month. And I don't see us, like, using, like, I just don't, like, we were talking offline or off podcast, like, because I have an Echo, and you don't. And I told you, I only use the Echo to set a timer for my kid to go to bed and to play music. Like, that's all I use it for. I don't ask it like anything else. I just don't see myself
I don't do much with the Google one either. I'd use it to turn off my lights, maybe check my garage door if that's open or closed, possibly answer the doorbell. Yeah, it's like a lot of these smart products, like I don't probably use them for like most of what they're advertised for. I agree.
I don't think most people do.
No, I use it as a glorified clock. That's nice to set timers and nice to, ask what the weather is or whatever. So
yeah, and it's $250.
Yeah, just like everything else. But one of the more expensive items and weirder ones is the Amazon Astro robot.
It's dumb.
It's pretty dumb. I thought it was very strange.
This is something people would buy.
You think somebody's gonna buy this?
Oh yeah, I think so.
Well, I mean, I don't see the appeal. The screen is on the floor basically. It's a robot with wheels, and the screen is at your knee high. Like, how useful is a screen at your knees?
Well, it can raise up.
No, the screen can't raise. There's a little telescoping mechanism with a camera on it, and you can use that to like look at your countertop or like check on things, like if your stove is burning or something.
Yeah, so explain what it is. I think we haven't done a good job yet.
It's basically Alexa screen, your Echo screen on wheels. That's all it is. It goes around your house. It can check on things for you. I saw another thing where if you like to walk around while you're in a video call, it can follow you around during a video call. I don't know. It's just kind of a weird device.
Like, there's some cool things, like it can detect smoke and carbon monoxide and somebody breaking in your house. But you should already have alarms for that in your house. And like
Echo devices can already do that.
Yeah, I just don't. It just seems like a small butler that can't do anything.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't get it, but I can see people buying this. You'll see this on like a TV show, like some sitcom. Like, I got me one of these.
It's early access $9.99, and then it's going to be $14.99 later on, which I don't know if anybody's going to buy this for $14.99, honestly, but they're testing out these weird devices. Like, do you remember when we talked about the Amazon Echo drone that would fly around your house, and you could check out if your house is broken into with the drone? They're just doing these weird products.
Amazon has this idea that you need Amazon Echo or something like that at all times in your house, and like, you just don't.
Here's what I'm thinking though. I'm not mad at all about any of these products, because I think it's interesting for companies, especially like companies that are worth billions of dollars, to try out new things, and maybe one of them sticks, and maybe one of them sticks and people like it. But it's interesting that they're at least trying. At least they're trying to do something different, and I applaud them for that. But I'm not going to buy any of their stuff.
What about the thermostat?
Well, I mean, I already have a Google a Nest. I think a lot of people do, but yeah, I kind of applaud them for coming out with a cheaper one. $60 is a somewhat inexpensive smart thermostat.
Yeah, and it's a decent. They didn't make it, so Residue, which is like they're the ones that make Honeywell thermostats, or the one that made this. I'm sure it's probably decent quality. I feel like it's just like, this is something. Part of what, like, the problem with Amazon, when I guess Google could also lower the price, But like it says, they have so much money that they can probably sell this as a loss for and like or at
because
cost.
they want you to subscribe to their other stuff.
Yeah. So like this is where they can get you in the door. Like, oh, it's only $60. But Nest was its own brand, right? Before Google bought them.
Yeah, Nest was its own brand, and so was Ring. So Amazon bought Ring. So Amazon didn't develop the Ring doorbell. They just bought the... I think all these companies tend to buy like a successful small company and then spin it off as their own thing. Yeah, their own idea.
That's another thing with that Astro robot. It's set up to your Ring, so if somebody rings your doorbell, it'll show up on the camera, which is not that bad. I think it's the most useful out of that, like for that product. But
yeah, but then the robot would have to be around you when the doorbell rings and all that stuff. But
so I would buy it if like to get the robot to come to you, say, "Here, boy, here," and then it would roll over. I don't want to have to say, "Hey, Echo." Like I want to call it like I'm calling a dog, or like if they give you like a little whistle that only the robot can hear, like it's a dog whistle.
But would you say, "Hey, Disney"?
I would say, "Hey, Disney."
You would?
No. So Disney announced. So Disney Magic Kingdom's having their 50th anniversary this year on the 1st of October, but it goes 18 months long. But so he teamed up with Amazon. And they have like a new Disney Echo that is like a little Mickey stand with his little shorts and ears at the top. And they're going to have like different character voices that you can have set up to talk to you, like Mickey Mouse, C-3PO, and Olaf.
Wait, this isn't something you buy for your house though, right?
You can buy it for your house. So there's two
Really?
things. Like you can buy it for the house to interact and all, but then they're going to have it at their hotels on property. And you don't have to get it for your room. It's be optional and it's complimentary, so it's free. But you can use it in your hotel. I'm like, "Hey, Disney, get me more towels. Hey, Disney, when's the next bus to Epcot?"
Oh, you know how much I hate Disney, and I think this idea is terrible. Two of the most, big conglomerate companies that are very boring, combined to make an even more boring thing. So I applaud them for being terrible. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
No steps throwing it out there, but they announced it.
That's one thing I'll never say is "Hey, Disney" after I just said "Hey, Disney." Dang it, I won't say it again after what I just said. So, all right, you ready to jump into the tech news bites, Alex?
Yeah, I'm trying to get there.
And if we have some new listeners, which I don't know if we do or not, tech news bites, usually we try to stick to 2 minutes, but sometimes we jump over. But Alex runs a timer, and yeah.
And here we have only 3 this week, so it's going to be short.
Short and sweet.
All right, go, Mikey, go.
Tech News Bites.
All right, Amazon's department store plans reportedly include high-tech dressing rooms.
And this should have been Dumb Tech of the Week.
I thought to add it to Dumb Tech of the Week. Then I read the article and I took a little pause and I'm like, well, maybe Amazon jumping into the department store industry is going to be a good thing because department stores haven't really changed at all in the longest of times. Like department stores have been pretty much the same. Like 10 years ago, if you went into a department store, it pretty much looked the same, or you wouldn't see much different. And this is interesting where they're coming out with some unique ideas where you're scanning like clothing items with your phone, like the QR codes on the tags, or like the tag itself, and then somebody will grab all those items and put it in a changing room for you, so you don't have to carry around a big armload of clothes. I think that's an interesting concept. And obviously other companies could adopt it.
But I have to take out my phone to scan it. And I'll just put the clothes in my hand. It's the same amount of work. Also, I don't want to know.
Not necessarily. Have you ever held clothes for your wife when she's shopping around for clothing? Like last week I had an armload of clothes, like 15 pounds, 20 pounds for like 30, 45 minutes.
My wife does not make me go shopping with her.
Well, that's another
Yeah, but
topic.
also I don't want to here, scan this, because I'm a husky fellow. I don't look at this. Look at the size of this guy's clothes. I don't want to do that.
Yes, we'll put a privacy filter on the closer graph.
Well, if they're
the
picking
shelf.
it up, they're knowing it.
Well, I'm sure it's optional, maybe.
It'll be optional and all, but like it's dumb. I feel like it's like technology that's not needed. Also, I don't like Amazon making department stores anyway.
Yeah.
I
guess adding technology to department stores might not be too exciting. I don't know.
Amazon,
I just thought it was interesting.
Amazon tried so hard to convince you that we didn't need department stores anymore. And they put a bunch of them out of business, and now they're like, we're coming out with department stores. A store I probably would never step foot in.
All right.
Give me JCPenney's or give me death.
JCPenney's like a ghost town. It's kind of creepy going in there.
You can get really good deals on JCPenney's.com. I got my wife a cashmere sweater for her anniversary. For like originally like $110, I got it for like $20.
Sidebar: do you know one of the reasons why JCPenney almost like? Well, I mean, they're pretty much going out of business as is. But do you know what really kind of solidified it?
They got an illegal cockfighting ring.
No. Do you remember when they decided we're doing away with sales? No more sales. We're just going to price everything at the cheap price.
Yeah.
So that killed them because people are like, even though the price is the same as the sale would have been, it's like some weird thing in our brains that like clicks.
That's my biggest complaint about Kohl's. Is like people are like, oh, Kohl's, you're always getting great deals. It's like, no, Kohl's overprices stuff, and then the sales price is what you would normally pay somewhere else. Kohl's
That's
is
what every clothing department the store does, though. That's the thing, and it engages something in our brain that you're like, I'm saving money somehow, and if they marked it cheap to begin with, you probably wouldn't buy it because you're like, well, I'll just wait for a sale. But if it's on sale, it's like engages something in your brain that's like not logical, and you buy it.
I just feel like Kohl's is like the worst offender. Like, because the
it
prices
is, and
are
they have the Kohl's Cash, which they give you, and it's like, okay, I have to wait for this to become available, and it's definitely the worst offender. Kohl's just preys on people that get a, excitement out of buying sale items. All right.
Next topic.
Europe may require all phone manufacturers to use USB-C charging.
About damn time.
What do you think of this?
It's just about damn time. There's too many cords, too many chargers. So like the USB-C is pretty much what most companies have decided on for like your tablets, your phones. The only big one that isn't is Apple, because they have their stupid Lightning charger. But Apple just wants to control like the products that you have and what people can sell. What's
funny is they took the Lightning charger off of all their products. Like they took it off of their all their iPads. Pretty much every iPad you buy from Apple now has the USB-C. Pretty much every device now has USB-C. So I think it's gotten to the point where, yes, it's time for Apple to finally, make the iPhone have the USB-C.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time. I think.
So I think they voted, and it's pretty much a done deal. I think that it's going to happen. It probably needs to. But the thing, this doesn't include devices that only charge wirelessly. So if it's a device that's only a wireless charging device, they don't have to add a USB-C port. So that's the thing. So the rumor of a wireless iPhone, that might come true. Like they've been saying that there's going to be an iPhone coming out soon that won't have any ports on it at all. And I think we might see that next year or the year after.
Yeah, they have 24 months to comply if this passes. That's like the wireless charger was the future. That's where everybody was going to go to. And it's just been a lot slower than I think people thought it would be.
Well, and also it's kind of inefficient as well. Like you lose power when you're charging. Like you lose some energy when you're charging wirelessly. So it's not like efficient.
As much.
So yeah, I'm for all having like the same cords. The only downside is it closes the door to like new things. So like if somebody comes up with a cool new way to charge your phone, it might not get traction because of these laws. So how do you move forward if you're locked into a one port thing?
Did we say this is only the European Union?
Yeah, but if they're gonna do it for European Union, they're gonna do it over in the States as well. They're
Well,
not
I
gonna
can,
have
but I
two
can
separate
see,
phones.
I can see if a company like finds like a new, better charging technique, releasing that in Asia and in America, and then Europe like changing the laws if it's that much better.
Yeah, that's true. So
I think they're just trying to standardize it, which they need to do with e-cars anyway, electrical vehicles anyway. So
yeah, there's a lot of like technology that needs to be somewhat standardized, I think.
right.
Final one up is the Illinois becomes the first Midwestern state to pass a law to phase out fossil fuels by 2045.
Yeah. So I didn't realize that Illinois has the largest nuclear energy fleet in the nation.
Yeah, I
That's
didn't
why-
know that either.
That's why they can kind of move over to no fossil fuels. So it's not technically just green energy. So it's like 10% maybe has to be. But like Illinois is really banking on nuclear energy. They're going to invest $7 million to upkeep the ones they already have over the next 5 years. So
And I'm actually surprised that there's not more like nuclear plants being built and that sort of thing.
I think it's because of like 3 Mile and Chernobyl. It's like people are scared of nuclear energy because like it can have a a terrible effect on the environment if something goes wrong. And then you also have to store the nuclear waste, which is a big issue. I know Native American on like reservations still store nuclear energy like waste because it's easy money and they don't have to go by like they have to make their own laws, so it's easier for them to store it for these companies. But like a big thing is because that thing doesn't go away. Like the half-life of nuclear waste is so long.
So yeah, I still think it's a good thing to invest in down the road.
Well, I
but
think
there's gonna be so many different like types of ways to generate energy and all that stuff. So
yeah, once we harness the power of the sun, we should be able to do it. No, I think it's just cool to see like a Midwestern state do it, and it had support from both Democrats and Republicans. So it's good. It's nice to see that. I think you'll see other states maybe start doing it in a bit. I don't know what I would say Colorado might be the next like middle of the country state.
I could have sworn there was another state that did this already.
This is the first Midwest. The coast have done it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because I remember talking about that in previous episodes. And that was like the longest 2 minutes in my life, that story.
What, this one?
Yeah.
I loved it.
I
had 2 stories to the list, and then you're like, I hate them all. The one you wouldn't even let me put on.
What? Which one? Oh, the endangered animals?
Yeah, the U.S. wildlife and fishing.
Well, we can talk about that real quick before we close it out.
Well, the U.S. Wildlife and Fishing Gaming Association or something like that officially announced the extinction of 22 birds, fish, and other mammals, like mostly like mussels. But there was a couple birds on the list, a couple fish on the list that are
I was
officially
reading
extinct.
it, and I'm like, the last sighting of most of these things have been like 1945 or 1952 or.
We haven't seen this since the 70s, and like it was just like them holding up hope. I guess like as they're finally officially naming these animals extinct.
They're holding out hope they're gonna find the woodpecker that they've been looking for everywhere for this woodpecker.
Yeah, that was a big one, this woodpecker. Like, oh, everybody was so up in arms about it.
Well, it's sad. I love woodpeckers. I think they're one of the cooler birds. I think they said it was like one of the biggest woodpeckers too, like second or third biggest in the world. Like large as in size.
It was 7 feet tall.
Yeah, I don't think that's true. But
no, it is sad. Like anytime like an animal is on the extinction list or goes extinct.
I'm thinking they're gonna find one of these eventually. 'Cause that always happens where they discovered like, wow, we found like 2 or 3 of these and we thought they were completely extinct.
I feel like,
but maybe that's why they waited so long to put them on the list.
Especially like the smaller animals, like a couple of them were like mussels, like found in like riverbeds and all, and they don't know like how small these are. Like there could still be out there, and they just haven't found them.
Or like, how do you even tell the difference between, if you handed me a stack of mussels, I would like think they're all the same species.
Each mussel is like a snowflake, Mike.
I'm sure.
I have no idea.
I'm not a big mussel fan.
Like you can show me like different fish, and I just assume they all look the same.
Yeah. Some things I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, all right. I'm sure we're down a mussel, but we got plenty of mussels to spare. So, all right, that was our Feature Jam episode for the week. If you looked at the feed, you saw like an interesting thing we posted out there. That's our new show. We're gonna have a new feed, all of that. This is an episode that I almost didn't release. I don't think it's rough, but it's just an early look at what we're gonna be doing. Called Fact Off. We're going to have a website, and I'm going to release the RSS feed, what that means is you can subscribe to it on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and all the other places eventually. I'm not sure when the feed's going up, but we have another episode recorded, and that feed's going to go live hopefully next week. So you'll have access to that, and we'll cross-post it over here. You can see that episode as well here, and there'll be a link in the notes there to subscribe to the show.
Yeah, it'd be exciting. It's us and another host, Pat. He's been on a couple times. So it'll be the three of us. We try to give you interesting facts, and you can judge them on us. Which one's the best? Usually mine. It should be fun. It'll be a good time. It'll be a little bit more fun than the Future Jam.
Oh, come on now. Future Jam's plenty fun.
But a Future Jam's a non-stop thrill ride that everybody loves.
So, yeah, think of Future Jam is kind of like the Beast roller coaster, if you ever ridden that. World's longest wooden roller coaster. That's what Future Jam's like. We're shaking you and baking you and,
Where are you going with this?
I don't know. And then think of Fact Off like a shorter thrill ride, like Top Thrill Dragster, That's Fact Off. Short and sweet. So, all right. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this. But that was the Future Jam for this week. Find us at the Future Jam on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and eventually we'll be at the Fact Off Pod on all those places as well. So, we'd love to hear from you, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Yep, thank you. And don't forget to vote on what you think our fans should be called. Mike will post on Twitter. Bye.